Hello and welcome to our discussion on the WPS Secure-EDI portal. Effective November 2020, the WPS Cost Report Audit Department implemented a new portal, a new secure email portal as an alternative to the old WPS GHA Secure Messaging portal that we had previously advertised on our website. This new portal is referred to as the Secure-EDI or Move It tool. Now, the changes were made to switch between the old portal and the new portal due to a variety of limitations that the old portal had for both the provider and the auditor. Some examples of these limitations include relatively small size limits, file size limits, various file type restrictions, even file name restrictions. Certain special characters were not allowed. And there was also a restriction on using passwords for the files that you attached. If you did use passwords, they would be bounced back. And there were also restrictions on third-party use. One of the requirements for this old portal was that you had to have the NPI number and the taxpayer identification number sign up for the portal. So in many cases, those third parties, the consulting firms, the law firms, they would not have access to this. So due to all these limitations and other issues with the old portal, we decided to switch to a brand new portal called the Secure-EDI or Move It tool. Now, for providers that are accessing the portal for the very first time, the first thing you're going to need to do is contact the auditor that you would like to send information to. You could do this by sending them a regular email to ask them to send you a Secure-EDI initiation email. Basically, you can ask them to send you an email to set up your Secure-EDI access. What will happen is they will log into the system on their side and they will send this Secure-EDI email to your email address, and this will set up your account for the very first use. What you will receive at that time is an email from the Secure-EDI system. This will go to your regular email account as information only. That email, as we'll see in the next slide, will include a link that takes you into the Secure-EDI tool, or we will also see a way for you to access Secure-EDI, that website, directly later on as well. So you'll receive this email straight from the Secure-EDI system. You will also receive a regular email from the auditor that includes a little bit of information about the portal, but most importantly, the password that you will need to sign in for the first time. It's your temporary password. This is a screenshot of what the email will look like that you get straight from the Secure-EDI system. Again, this will go to your email address, and it just tells you that you have a new file request notification. It'll welcome you to the portal. It says a new file request has been posted for you. You will be required to supply credentials in order to sign on and transfer your files. These credentials will be provided to you either by the request originator or by way of some other email notification. As I said, generally this means that you'll get an email from them. Now again, here is the link that will take you into the Secure-EDI tool, or you can actually access the Secure-EDI tool separately at secure-edi.wpsic.com. We'll see that URL a little bit later as well, but I just wanted to mention that you can go directly to the portal if you would prefer not to use a link in the email. So by now you should have received an email from the auditor, and you can log in to set up your new password, set up your new account. So you can either click on the link from that email, or as I mentioned earlier, you can access the Secure-EDI website directly through this link. Now when you get there, it's going to, first of all, you're going to have to log in with your email address and the default password, but then it's going to prompt you immediately with a password change request. Now notice some of the restrictions for the password. It must be at least 9 characters. It cannot contain or resemble username. It has to have at least 1 letter and 1 number. It can't have an actual word in it. And for the letters, there has to be at least an upper and a lowercase letter. And there has to be at least 1 number. And it cannot be the same as your previous 24 passwords. So you'll type that in twice, and then click the change password link. Once you get into your account, you may, at least for a while, you may see this type of message talking about a wizard. Install the upload download wizard. You will not want to do that. You'll want to disable the wizard. Now, what I want to mention here is that this message will eventually no longer even pop up. There are going to be some upgrades to the system that will remove this as even an option. It is not currently activated, so that's why you're forced to disable it. But again, at some point in the near future, this will be removed entirely. So disable the wizard if you see this message. And what you'll come to is the file request. Whichever file email was sent to you, you'll see that. And in this case, it was just a regular text type message, just included text. There was no attachment, but you might see some emails that have attachments. Maybe the auditor is sending you a sample request, so they have to show you which accounts are being sampled. But in this case, it's just a message. If you would like to respond to it, you can either click the reply button, or you could actually send a brand new message to the auditor as well. Now, if you want to go to your actual mailbox to see what other messages you may have, you'll notice you have this return to mailbox link down at the bottom. And what you'll see there is a list of your different folders. Now, you might see some drafts if you have any. The inbox, of course, is important. You can even see what emails you've sent and maybe what emails you've deleted up to a period of time, short period of time before they're permanently purged from the system. So you'll be able to see all those. One thing I want to mention here is that the term packages is just simply another word for emails. These are intended to be file transfer packages. But if you'd like to send a brand new email to that auditor, you can come down here. Instead of replying to their email, you can go down to send package and you'll be able to do a brand new email. So I said you can reply to the auditor that sent you the initial request. So it's important to understand that external users are only able to send emails to auditors that have actually initiated contact with them. The way the system is set up, you don't currently have access to the entire list of auditors. You can only send packages to somebody who has opened up that channel, so to speak. Now, what I mean by that is that if that auditor sends you that initiation email, then down the road you can come back and send a brand new email right back to that auditor. That's perfectly fine. You'll always have that open channel with that auditor. But let's say you want to contact another auditor altogether, you will have to get with them separately outside of this system and have them send you that initiation email. And that basically opens up the channel of communication. Now, you won't have to set up a brand new account. It'll be the same account. You won't have to change your password, anything like that. As long as that auditor sends you an email, that second or third or fourth auditor, once they send you the email, they've now been added to your address book, and you can contact them at any time in the future as well, either in reply to their email or just a direct contact with that auditor. Now, some recommendations and some other information about the portal that I wanted to mention. We have a file size limit of 2 gigabytes for the system. Now, of course, the larger the file is, the longer it takes for the system to load it, so keep that in mind. But you can load larger files, much larger than a regular email, certainly much larger than the old portal. Now, what I want to mention here is you can load zip files to the system, and we actually recommend it. Let's say you had 20 files that you wanted to send to an auditor. We would recommend that you zip those up into one zip file and then send that zip file. That'll make it a lot easier really for you to load instead of having to load 20 files individually. And second of all, it'll make it easier for the auditor on the other side to download those. Now, the one thing I do want to mention here is that even though there's a large file size limit of 2 gigabytes, there is a quantity limit of 5. You can only load 5 messages, 5 attachments to every email. So that makes the zip file an even more attractive choice. Zip all of your individual files together and just attach that one zip file. The other thing I want to mention here is that the Secure-EDI tool is not intended to be permanent storage space. Instead, it's just a transmission. It's a file transmission tool. So files will be purged from the system regularly. And from what I understand, it's usually around 30 days right now when they purge the files. So just keep that in mind. If you have something that has been sent to you that you need to retain for longer than that, please be sure to download that and save it to your computer or your network directory. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually access the Secure-EDI portal directly after that very first time. And really, you could do it the first time as well, but it's the https secure-edi.wpsic.com. The other thing I want to mention here is that your access will expire after 20 days of non-use. So if this happens, you'll get a message that you're unable to log on. And by the way, even though there's a password change utility in the portal, this is not allowed for external users. So what you'll need to do to reactivate your account is contact any auditor that you've previously dealt with and ask them to reactivate your account. They should be able to get into the system and reactivate your account. If you need your password reset, they can do that for you as well. If all else fails, you can send an email to audit.advisement@wpsic.com and we can assist you that way as well. That takes us through what I wanted to show you for the portal. So hopefully this has helped to clarify how to use this new portal. We do have information on our website as well, a step-by-step guide, many of the same screenshots that we've seen in this discussion. But if you do have any questions on this, please feel free to use this email address here and send them in. I thank you for your time.